Holy shit, guys. We are in the middle of January. We're literally in the middle of January. And we already have a great film that has came out this year. What is up, guys and horror fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Brinkat, and today I'm going to review the latest follow-up movie, and that film is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. This is a follow-up of 28 Years Later that came out last year, which I really do love. This movie, though, is not directed once again by Danny Boyle. This movie is directed by Nia DaCosta, and stars the return of Ralph Fiennes, Alfie Williams, with Jack O'Connell. As Spike is inducted into Jimmy Crystal's gang on the mainland, Dr. Ian Kelson makes a discovery that could alter the world forever. So we have the follow-up to 28 Years Later. I thought the 28 Days Later franchise is one of my favorite zombie franchises of all time. I thought the first movie was great. The second movie I actually surprisingly enjoyed. But 28 Years Later, holy shit, that movie really surprised me. And I think Danny Boyle still has his style back, and he brings that a lot to 28 Years Later, until we found out that this is going to be a trilogy. So we're in the second installment in the series, but like I said, once again, this is not redirected by Danny Boyle. This is directed by Nia DaCosta, who directed the Kellyman remake, which I thought was very underrated, but also she directed The Marvels, which I really didn't like. And I'm not gonna lie, I was skeptical for this movie because, you know, when it comes to different directors taking on a project, it always gives me a little bit of skepticism, because I just think Danny Boyle really brings a lot of light when it comes to these movies. I know he didn't direct the second one, but I did enjoy the second one. But of course, 28 Days Later and 28 Years Later, I thought he directed those movies really freaking well. But also, I was interested in this film to see where this film is going to go. Where is it going to go after the ending, which is really surprising. It's one of those endings in 28 Years Later where I'm just like, okay, I did not see it coming, and I was really curious to see where it's going to take upon. But also, the biggest skepticism of this film is that this movie is coming out in January, and that's the thing that I was like, this film could suck because of that. Because January, when it comes to horror films, throughout the most part, has not been that good. We all know that January is the worst month for horror movies. And, you know, through the past Januaries, we do have some surprises. So I'm hoping that 20 years later, The Bone Temple brings us that. And holy shit, guys. We are in the middle of January. We're literally in the middle of January. And we already have a great film that has came out this year. Not only that 20 years later, The Bone Temple really surprised me in every step of the way, I might like this more than 28 Years Later on its own. 20 Years Later, The Bone Temple, holy shit. This is a great follow-up and great second installment in this new trilogy, or quadrilogy, I don't know what this is going to be, that we have actually gotten. Nia DaCosta, seriously, this is easily her best film. She directed this film so freaking well. She brings some of Danny Boyle's style with her, but also brings her own style when it comes to this film. And I gotta say, this film looks incredible when it comes to the cinematography and the overall atmosphere of this film. It's like we never left the world from the last film. But I gotta say, the cast in this film is legit in this film. I gotta say, Ralph Fiennes is one of the most interesting parts of 28 Years Later, and he brings it all upon with this film. This is his character study in this film, and I thought Ralph Fiennes is incredible in this film. As Dr. Ian Kelson, he really brings it all within this film. And his plot aspect of the film, because there is two plots when it comes to this film, his plot is one of the most interesting aspects of this film. And I'm going to keep this review as vague as possible. I'm not going to spoil, but his plot is probably one of the most important things about this movie. And I think it's one of the things that could lead this franchise to a halt. And I thought his plot aspects really is interesting in the film. And Ralph Fiennes, of course, is fantastic in this film. This is definitely his move throughout the most part, and he really stood out in this film. But also, the Jimmies in the film, this new cult that Spike comes upon within the ending of the film. If you think they are just like these parkour zombie killers in the film, when you watch this film, it shows how wrong you truly are. Now, of course, like I said, I'm going to keep this review as vague as possible. But what the Jimmies do in this film, holy shit, they are fucked up in this film. And I gotta say, Jack O'Connell in this film, holy shit, he is getting more rise right now. I loved him from Sinners last year, and in this movie as Jimmy, the main Jimmy of the group, holy shit, his performance in this film is riveting, intense, and menacing, and he brings that upon within this film. The stuff he does in the film, like I said a lot of times, like even this review vague, it is fucked. And you feel actually really scared for his character in this film. And here's the thing, he is more scarier than the actual zombies that are shown in this film. Actually, this film doesn't really have as much zombies. This is more about this group. And holy shit, the people in the apocalypse, it just shows that it could be more scarier than the zombies out there. And it proves that with Jack O'Connor's performance. He really brings that upon in this film. And of course, once again, Alfie Williams as Spike is great in this film. And his performance in the first movie is fantastic. But his performance in this movie is much more different. He doesn't say as much dialogue in this film. We see more of his expressions and his feelings in this group. You can really feel it throughout his performance in this film. And of course, it's about his journey thinking, do I deserve to be in this group or do I not deserve to be in this group? And I thought Alfie Williams obviously brings that upon within this film. I feel like out of the 28 Days Later films, I feel like this film is the most different because it's not really about the action. It's not really about that because it's not as action-packed as the other films, but this film is more of a drama thriller. It's more of a character study in some sort of a way. And I think the way that Nia DaCosta did this movie, I thought she made this movie kind of like a standout and make it more of, you know, something different within this franchise. There's a lot of intense scenes in this film, but there's a lot of interesting plot aspects that I was literally following along the whole way through. This is mostly a dialogue-driven film, but throughout the most part, I was invested. I was interested, and after this movie with the cliffhanger at the end, which I'm not going to spoil, but the ending, holy shit, I'm really curious to see where this franchise is going to come upon. And I think it's a film that gets you kind of in within it, getting more curious of how this franchise is going to come upon, especially after the cliffhanger. You're like, okay, I'm in on the third movie. I'm excited to see how the story is going to continue on and come upon because there's so many interesting plot aspects of the film and there's so many fantastic aspects of the film and intense aspects where I'm just like, man, I think this franchise is literally going on a roll. Overall, guys, 28 years later, The Bone Temple really does surprise me. This is definitely the first great movie that came out this year, and we're in the middle of January. This is a great follow-up to 28 Years Later. I think Nia DaCosta absolutely directed this movie very well. This is easily her best movie that she has directed. The performances by Ray Fiennes, Jack O'Connell, Alfie Williams, everyone does a great job in this film. The world is expanded so freaking well, and some of the plot aspects are so interesting in this film that I was really curious to see where this movie is going to continue on, and this movie gets intense, it gets thrilling, even brutal. Like, this is the most brutal that I've seen out of the 28 Years Later movies. Like, seriously, this movie has a lot of things where I'm just like, fuck me! But this movie got me very intrigued from start to finish, and Nia DaCosta, congrats. You have made a great movie, because most of her movies haven't been all that great. Even though I enjoyed the Kellyman remake, I did not enjoy The Marvels. This is definitely easily her best film that she has directed. And after the ending of this film, holy shit, I cannot wait to see where this franchise comes upon. I'm really curious to see where the story goes after that because, man, this is an excellent follow-up to 20 Years Later, and I might like it better than its predecessor. And I gotta say, it's another great installment in the 28 Days Later franchise. Easily, I'm gonna say, for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, absolutely go see this film on the big screen. Again, first great movie that came out this year. And we're in the middle of January. It shows that we might have a great year on our hands. So guys, that is my review for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film, or you thought it's okay? Just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.